Hello drafters, just setting up here, give me a moment. I believe I am live. So let's get into it. Hello drafters, time for another drafted live session where I just sit back, relax and chat about some things that are happening in the 3D printing maker niche area. So I've got a few topics on today and I wanted to go over them, have a little chat, and we'll go from there. So the first one, which we'll switch to the main screen. Alright, so you should be seeing that at the moment. So the first thing to talk about is the Eufy Make E1. It feels like I'm talking about this machine every time I do a live session. The story here is that, I'm just going to check my microphone. Yep, I think that's good. So the good news is the Eufy Make E1 printer is ramping up production. They are getting out a bunch of units now. I think if we're looking at the latest update, it's saying how many they were able to put out week over week. And we're looking at the most recent update, they're actually able to ship 5,000 units. In total, they've shipped 12,885, and I think there was something like 13,000 and a half backers as well for this machine, maybe 14,000 backers. So I think in that next update, they should have shipped them all out by now. And that was what they were saying. In China, they have Chinese New Year basically starting now for a lot of places. So you're going to find a lot of these Chinese companies are going to go radio silent for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Chinese New Year is a big thing in China. It's basically like the Westerners' New Year break at the end of the year. We typically get like 2 weeks off. Chinese New Year is usually around this February-March time, and they typically take about 2 or 3 weeks as well. And it's a huge thing in China. Big, I think it's like the world's largest migratory session thing that happens for humans. So it's pretty impressive what happens over there. But anyway, this isn't about Chinese New Year, it's about the E1. So basically what they're trying to do is say, okay, we've got as many as we could possibly ship by the Chinese New Year. They're all on the boat. They're going over to the seas to their different destinations, not just the US this time. We're pretty much covering every area that ordered. So you're looking at the UK, Canada, Australia, Japan, all those areas should have shipments going out by sea now and landing probably around March. So if we look through this update here, and this includes ink as well, but we'll go back to that topic in a moment. If we have a look, it should be around here somewhere. So I think this is the timetable that they're going for at the moment. So we're looking at, there's not many V6 backers and it's a bit hard to explain. It sort of goes way back, but the main bulk of us are going to be the Kickstarter deposit backers. This is telling us that the US, the ETA to the local warehouses. So you got your boat going overseas, it gets to the port and it loads off to the warehouses. And from there, they'll start packing out individually and shipping to their final destinations. So it's arriving in the warehouses for that distribution. So we got the US basically between mid to late February. Canada is late February. EU is mid to late February, UK is mid to late February, and other regions is March 10th is basically where like the cutoff is. So other regions meaning basically Australia, Japan, anywhere else, we're looking towards mid-March, I'd say. So for the Australian viewers and wondering when you're going to get your E1, if you've backed it, I'm guessing we're probably going to see it either late March or early April by this stage. So it's coming real. I've got a bunch of the material kit in the background here. You won't be able to see it in the shelves. but I did a video on what's included in the Ultimate Kit, I think it was. Covers all those materials that you get with it. So check that if you want. I also received the laminate machine recently. I think it was last week or the week before. Haven't unboxed it because there's nothing I can do with it yet. But if you know what the E1 does, that is for creating stickers and decals and such. And then it's saying all the rest of the Kickstarters that didn't make it out, pretty much looking at March, mid-March for those to arrive. And therefore it should all be done. But there is one thing to discuss, and that is the ink. So from what I've seen discussed online is that they're shipping a set of ink that comes with the printer, but a lot of people ordered extra inks because they're on discount through the Kickstarter, or there was extra inks based on the rewards, the tiered rewards that were unlocked through the campaign. I believe those are not being shipped out straight away. So I think their plan is here, they want to try and, the ink is basically limited for them. They can only produce so much in the time they had left. So they've basically made enough ink to send out with each order. So you should get one set of ink and the cleaning cartridge, and then the following shipment should receive the rest of the inks that you ordered. So if you ordered in bulk and you got 4 or 5 sets, or if you just got one more coming, you're gonna have to wait for that. And that had some people worried because the E1 machine has a cleaning feature, and it also won't run if the ink gets to a certain amount. I believe you can set it to 5%, but if any of those ink cartridges run low, which is usually going to be your white or gloss, it's not going to be able to print. And it's going to force itself into a maintenance mode, and then it's going to sit there idle, and you won't be able to do anything with it. People are worried if they don't get the timing with this correct, and they try and print some stuff off, and then it does its usual cleaning cycles, and it runs out of ink, and then it just sits into maintenance mode, and it doesn't get a chance to fully purge itself and go into like idle mode, that their print head is going to get clogged up and become useless, and they're not sure when more ink is going to come. Because that's kind of the problem with this machine. Not really a problem, but just something you need to be aware of, is it's a machine that you're going to be wanting to use all the time. And I'll be doing videos once I receive mine to optimize that, I believe. So whether it's you print something small each day, or if you let it go into maintenance mode and then wait until a weekend, sort of batch print everything out. I think there's going to be different ways of handling that to, not burn through all your ink, because those inks are expensive. In Australia, a set of ink with the cleaning cartridge is like $550. So if you're using one of those a week and you're not doing it to make money, like that's some serious money you have to burn through to keep this machine operating as just a hobby. Now, if you're selling stuff, it shouldn't be a problem, and you're going to factor that into your costs. But if you're just using it as a hobby, I suspect a lot of people are not going to be aware of what's required to keep this machine running and the cost that's involved, and they're going to probably just end up selling their machine, I think. But it's good news. The machines are going out. They're getting out into the public. There's more and more users, especially in the US, that are actually using it and printing things off, and it's really cool. Check out all the Facebook groups and stuff, because there's heaps of people actually posting projects in there now, and that's just going to get more and more as all these people start receiving their units. I do see a few problems pop up here and there as well, which has me concerned, like how reliable is this machine going to be, because all we've been able to really base our opinion on is the beta users, and now we're getting some like real life people that do 1 or 2 prints and they're amazed by the quality and the print, and then the third print something happens and it's just like not printing correctly, or the head's clogged, or drama after drama. And I do see it here and there, so I'm a little worried. Generally, I don't want to jinx myself, but I typically have good luck with machines. I hope that luck continues with this machine. So that is the E1 as it stands. So pretty cool to see that happening. Now I just want to check, I'm going to see if I can see if my live is live. Yeah, there we go. I'll have to get this set up at some point so I can actually see people's comments or anything. That would be nice. So definitely say hi if you dropped in and started watching this video. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next topic. Yeah, definitely need to learn how to do these sessions better. Hey, there we go. Okay, I can see some comments now. How cool is that? Just trying to set this up. Sorry for those watching if this is incredibly boring for you. But anyway, it's cool to see someone actually watching the live for a change. It's nice. Thank you. And yes, it is Year of the Horse. So I don't think I have anyone in my family that is Year of the Horse, like in my direct family. I'll have to find out. I'm personally Year of the Rat. I was born in 84, so I'm 42 this year. And I believe that is Year of the Rat. But my family, my wife is actually Chinese, so I know a lot about Chinese culture. I can't speak any Chinese. I just know a few phrases here and there. It's an incredibly difficult language to get the tones right and learn, but it is a very fascinating language as well. Anyway, moving on to the next topic. So, okay, Year of the Monkey. Yeah. I wish I knew more about each of the actual animals and what they represent. Like I only know a few of the names of rooster, monkey, horse, rabbit, all that kind of stuff. But I should talk to my wife because she'll be able to tell me like what each represents and what their qualities are. And Chinese culture like that is quite fascinating, I think. So the next thing I wanted to cover is Xtool is getting into the game of UV printing. So they have announced probably a few weeks ago they are releasing their UV printer. They haven't really released a lot of details. It's mostly like, hey, we're working on it. It's coming out early this year. They did have it at CES, which is the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, I believe it is, at the start of the year. And they had basically a working machine. You couldn't open it and touch it, but there were some people previewing it and actually getting some prints done. So it's real. It exists. Some of the specs are that it actually has dual print heads, and I'm not a huge expert on what UV printers do. The E1's going to be my first main hobby experience with one, but it's something I've been learning about through the whole E1 campaign since it's taking so long. But the E1 it's going to be an interesting machine because, as we're aware of with Xtool, is that, in my opinion, Xtool is like the Bamboo Lab of at-home laser machines. They have that range from your real entry-level stuff, like your desktop lasers, your little diode ones, up to the real full-on CO2 cutters, and they just keep pumping out like bigger and bigger machines. So they've got like the metal fab, which can do metal cutting and laser welding. They have a UV apparel printer, so you can do like graphic design on shirts and hats and all that kind of stuff. And the thing with Xtool is, and I say this about every 3D printing manufacturer out there, the reason why Bamboo Lab is good is because, one, their software is on point and their ecosystem is in place. Everything ties in neatly. Sure, they've got a few problems here and there, but I mean, they're on another level compared to everything else, but their software is good. That's what set them so far ahead of everyone else, because 3D printers were just kind of like scattershotting everything and seeing what works and releasing, I'm not going to say names here, but just releasing one machine after the other just to capture that new market and try and sell them on the new machine. That's been the business plan for so long, until Bamboo Lab came out and they're like, no, we're going to release something. It's going to be really good and we're going to support it for a really long time. And when we're ready, we're going to iterate on that and just make it even better and constantly set that benchmark going forward. Xtool is getting into that area as well. They're doing the same thing. And I've been receiving a lot of kind of like desktop laser cutters, like little hobby ones. And honestly, they're not that good. They're a really frustrating experience to use those things. You have to use Lightburn, which in my opinion sucks. You have to deal with like aligning things yourself and learning about materials, and it's like a whole different area. It's not like 3D printing. Even in the days of early 3D printing where you're working stuff out and it was involved, I feel like the laser cutting is just like really, really painful. I'm dealing with stuff in the other room that's driving me nuts, and I'll talk about that another time. But Xtool is the one that's just like, here's a really good laser cutter and here's some really good software to go with it, and it's going to make the whole process so easy for you. That's what Xtool has done to the industry of lasers. And now they're pushing out, they're doing that metal fab stuff. They're doing t-shirt press machines, and they're doing a UV printer. And the interesting thing, one of the main things that I think will be really cool with the Xtool is that they plan to integrate their laser cutters with the UV printer. And I think that's a really cool area with these UV printers and 3D printing. Like, I find that like the triangle of machinery that you'd want in a hobby space right now is laser cutter, 3D printer, and UV printer. With those three machines, you can do so much cool stuff with it, You can be so creative. And having an ecosystem like Bamboo does, but for this, is, I think, what's going to set the new benchmark for these at-home hobby UV printers. So the cool thing with this software is you can hopefully seamlessly drop something into your laser cutter, have it all aligned properly with like the Xtool system, and it cuts out, and then you just bring that out, drop it into your UV printer, load the same project, hit print, and it just aligns it automatically and prints it on. That's going to be so cool. And so I'm really interested in seeing what happens. Now, I have been in contact a little bit with Xtool. I'm not a big channel yet. I'm about to get to the 16,000 mark, so awesome. They have contacted me. I have worked with them on one video, and I hope that that opens the door to maybe getting this machine in the future. So I'll definitely be talking about this machine more as it comes out. Apparently it's coming out really early this year, like Q2 or something, or end of Q1. That's not far away, and they're still trying to figure out like, what do we name this thing? What do you want in this thing? I definitely recommend going onto Facebook, joining the Xtool UV printer groups, especially the official one, and checking out all the surveys and stuff, because they do a lot of competitions. That's the cool thing with Xtool. There's always competitions, like you have a chance of winning a machine or a big discount or whatever it is, just by offering ideas of what you want out of this machine. They're really trying to tap into the community and say, what do you want? What can we implement with this thing now? So it'll be really interesting to see what they can take and put into this machine with the time running out. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, and thanks for joining in, Sean King. It's cool to have an actual viewer. These videos I basically just put out to just discuss things without all the editing and stuff. Makes it a bit easier and a bit casual, but usually people watch this after it's posted and so maybe watch the first few minutes and that's about it. But so it's cool to have an actual viewer interacting. Hopefully one day we have many more and we can get a bit of a community happening. Now I'll power along through this because it's getting late tonight. The next interesting thing that I've been looking at for quite a while, probably over a year now, is this thing, the X machine. Or I don't know why, it's always Chinese names. They love their animal names for some reason, but the X-Horse 3D company, terrible name, they are releasing the X machine. And it is a desktop 5-axis hobby CNC machine. That is just... Oh, thanks. Yeah, the Rodin vid was fun to do. And I'll talk about the AI stuff in a sec too. So the desktop CNC machine, like this is... We've seen CNC machines at home before. There's heaps on Alibaba. Like if you want to go base level cheap, there's plenty there. I've been offered them before and I almost took one and I looked into how difficult they are to actually operate and I was just like, no, it's not worth my time. That's just not a fun video to make. The alternative has been the Cavera. So they are pretty much, again, your Bamboo Lab of CNC desktop machines. They have a few machines out now. They recently did a Kickstarter for like their budget entry level machine and it got funded. It did well. I haven't paid too much attention to it, so I believe people should be getting them now, or they already have. I'll have to look into that. But they're just basic, I don't know how you'd say, maybe 3-axis machines, like forward, back, up and down. And that's about it. I think that's 3-axis. But this is a 5-axis, which means you can do some really intricate, detailed stuff with this machine. It really opens up potential. And the other thing is it's actually, it looks very powerful. It can do some really good heavy duty machine materials, titanium and really hard metals. So it'll be interesting to see what this is actually capable. Really like the design. It looks like a workshop machine, that's for sure. It looks very intimidating, all the dials and stuff. But hopefully it has good software to come along with it. It does not have a huge build volume. That is the bonus of the Cavera. They're, larger beds. But the at-home hobby CNC machine space, they typically don't have very large working areas anyway. And this one is even smaller. I believe it just on this one here, I believe it's 100 mil square. So you're looking at, something like this big, like that. Not a lot, but it'd be really cool, I think, for little figurines. And combining what AI tools can do now with like the 3D modeling, I think you could create some really cool little portrait things just so easily. So we'll go down here a little bit more. So you can see here, like, it's got touch probing, so it can actually detect where things are. It can center and do everything right. It's got an auto tool changer as well, which is really cool. So it actually has this really neat system where it retracts and pulls the tool out and changes to the next tool. Let's keep going down. So you put in your little block of material and you'll cut away out of that. So you can see the kind of movement it has here. So they're claiming a really high power spindle as well. So here's the auto tool changer. Yeah, sword pommels would be really cool. Like the little end piece, you mean like that's the pommel, right, at the end? Yeah, that'd be cool. Like it really opens up a lot of materials and stuff. And from what I've seen them hinting at, because they are actually, and I'll show you the page in a sec, but they are actually ramping up to potentially release this on Kickstarter pretty soon. From what I've seen them throw out numbers, I think it's in retail like the $10,000 range. And I have been in contact with them, but they're a bit quiet now, so I don't know if they're going to send me one, but I'll keep pushing. Hopefully they do, because I'd really love to try this machine. I think this is so cool. I do a lot of CNC design at work for machine design, much bigger scale than this, but there's so many times where we just need like a little bracket made. This probably won't have the build volume for that kind of stuff, but to be able to maybe just make a small plate or some sort of small corner bracket, or even just like if you're into micro drones or anything like that, you could make some really cool stuff with this. Really cool. But what I'd use it for personally is like figurine statues and stuff. I'll try and find some images. The potential materials we have here: copper, brass, aluminium, marble, jade. That'd be interesting. Obsidian, polycarbonate, wax, acrylic, and wood. Wax would be interesting actually if you're like a jeweler. You could potentially make the wax, don't know what you'd call it, the wax body of something, and then put that into a mold and cast into it, if you know what I mean. So that could be really cool. So it has all the touch panel control on the front. What's 12L14C? What sort of material is that? So you got a lot of AI renders here, as they do. Yes. Yeah, lost wax cast. That's what I was thinking of, lost wax casting. Something I've always wanted to get into. I almost at one stage got into buying, like, I forget all the names because it's been a while since I looked into this, but the actual foundry, whatever it's called, well, you do all the metal melting inside, and then you got to move that to like cleaners and everything and tumblers, and there was a whole system that I was looking into. You know, a few grand, but I was really interested in maybe doing some like silver casting, maybe even gold casting, but with how expensive gold is now, I don't really see that as a interesting hobby anymore. Yeah, exactly. Oh, toning steel. Okay. Ah. Yeah, I really like lost wax stuff. It's they have some jewelry classes close to my area. I live in Gold Coast in Australia, and yeah, smelting system. And I'd really like to do those courses just to learn, just to get some experience with like how to, use the blowtorch and melt down some sort of alloy and then cast that and do. I don't have a resin printer at the moment. It's something I want to try and get, but you can get like the castable resin wax, and then you can make jewelry and stuff, and then do like subtractive lost wax sort of casting and everything. So something I've always wanted to look into. Maybe I can do some courses this year. I want to try and push my daughter to maybe do some jewelry lessons as well. I think that'll be an interesting skill to have. Oh, cool. A prop builder for stage and film. That's so cool. We don't get a lot of that in my area. So, I mean, we do have like a film industry here, like with Movie World, but I mean, it's such a niche area. It'd be hard to get into. Sort of like one of those, you got to know someone who knows someone to get into that sort of industry, I think. Yeah, I can imagine every job's going to be different. Like my job, my day job is kind of like mechanical engineering, but it's stressful. It's just constantly always working towards deadlines and trying to build these $1 million machines that need to work the first time and need to be here tomorrow kind of thing. It's a lot of stress. Okay. Yeah, in Vancouver, I haven't traveled around too much myself, but it would be a place I'd like to go one day. I think the next page I've got here. So I'll just bring this one out. Let me bring it up. Where is it? Xtool. I just want to see, they had some cool videos I wanted to bring up. Okay, here. If you go onto the X-Horse, cool. That's kind of the idea of my channel. I always wanted to just, it's always evolving, but I wanted to kind of just show what I do with the things that I know, and hopefully that just kind of inspires someone else to, you know, learn from that and learn a new skill or potentially try something. That's kind of always what I've wanted to do with the channel. And then it's always a matter of working with the algorithm and stuff. So it kind of sucks feeling like a bit of a shill sometimes and constantly trying to just make the YouTube gods happy so your content actually gets pushed out and you grow and you can, you know, earn a bit of an income from the channel, and that gets reinvested into the things around me at the moment. But at the same time, I really enjoy like the whole analytics of YouTube and trying to, like, you know, do better each time. But the core of it has always been what I'm actually showing in the videos as well. So I'm really happy that you're a fan of the videos and that you like the content, and I get that feedback quite a bit. The AI stuff that I'm focusing on recently definitely is, what's the word? Polarizing. There is, you know, a lot of like, honestly, a lot of the opinions are like, this is cool video, thanks for showing us, this looks interesting. And then you get a lot of the people that are like, AI is trash, you're bad, you don't know anything, you're not a real 3D modeler. So I've just learned to just say like, yep, whatever, move along, thanks for the engagement, and see you around. But it's always nice to know that there are people like yourself out there, Sean King, that enjoy the channel for what I put out. So thank you. So what I was looking at here, Xhorse 3D Facebook page. If you have Facebook, definitely check out their Facebook page. They have some really cool videos here just that show actual jobs that they're making. Like you can see here, it's actually doing the threading on some steel. I'm not sure what, probably an aluminium or something. It looks like an aluminium. Oh, cool. Yeah, well, AI is expanding, man. Like, people hate on it, but if you're a designer, like, learn to use the tools and then just make yourself better for it. That's my opinion. Don't be scared of it. So check out that threading. It's so cool. Little sort of shoulder bolt or something. Yeah, like this. This is what I was looking at just before I went live. This is made with some sort of wood, and like the level of detail is surprisingly really cool to be able to make little figurines like this. I imagine this takes forever to actually mill out. That's a lot of work. Like it's going to do a few passes and get down to that level with like a, you know, heavier tool, and then it's going to switch to something fine and it's got to do all its, you know, even more passes. But when it's complete, like look at the level of detail on that. That's just amazing. the way it can get into all those undercuts and stuff, like so cool because of that 5-axis capability. So cool. There was another one there. So they actually went out to like different schools and stuff, and they had something like 100 of these machines or 50. Yeah, V-bit carving, like really fine point. And they had like heaps of these machines. So this is why I'm excited about this machine, is because it actually exists. They've made more than one. It's not just a prototype at this stage, and it's been floating around the internet for quite a while, well over a year. I've been following these guys, and it's, you know, pretty much been this final design for some time. But if you look through their pages, you can see there's been some work on this machine, and I really hope they do well, because it's going to be a pricey machine, but those that can afford it, or if you're doing it for like business purposes, like my degree is industrial design, and the dream has always kind of been to be like full-time YouTube, but then also still do stuff on the side where I can do some little custom CNC pieces or 3D printing pieces or laser cut signage or something to kind of complement the video production that I do. So having a machine like this, maybe I need to make it a square instead of a triangle, but a CNC machine. Or maybe it can be the triangle of the UV printer, the 3D printer, and the laser cutter, and then the CNC can just be in the middle of the triangle. It's probably the best way to explain it, I reckon. It's like the final piece you get to fill in the triangle. But yeah, look at that. So cool. Definitely check these guys out. I'll be posting more on this as soon as I know if the Kickstarter goes live and all the details on that. The only other bit of detail information I know about this thing when I talk to them is it weighs like 100 kilos. So I don't know what that is in pounds if you need to convert, but 100 kilos, and it's only like, it's not a huge machine. I don't think I have a table I could put that machine on without the table just falling in. It's crazy. That is one heavy machine. Yeah, just really cool machine. I'm really excited for this one. Yeah, there's a final piece here. So the X-Horse, they do have a YouTube channel as well. It's a bit older, the stuff on here, but they do put, you know, new videos out. So if we go latest, so 1 month ago there was one here. Okay, they got like an unboxing and setup. They got, you know, little projects here and there. They just sort of show like how to make. This one really interested me, is making a watch case. Now, back many years ago, probably like 8 or 10 years ago, I had this random challenge for myself where I was like, I'm going to make a watch. Not fully down to like the actual mechanical movement in the individual pieces, but I wanted to just like learn how I could make a mechanical watch by getting all the pieces I needed and assembling it. And I deep dived into it because that's just the type of person I am. I always just get stuck on a topic and just, you know, spend a month on it. And eventually I did source the parts I needed and assembled a watch. And then I went beyond that. I'm like, okay, I want to design my own case. I want to design my own dial. I want to design my own watch with a particular movement. I think it was like a Miyota movement or something. And I did. I actually designed a case and got it made. If you look on my Instagram, I think there might even be photos of it. If I were to look around, I could probably find it in this shelf next to me, I think. And yeah, I actually designed a watch case, and seeing them make a watch case with this machine, I was like, oh, what? This resonates with me. Like, I know how to do this. It'd be so cool to be able to imagine, you know, having this, being able to make your own style of watch case and then make a dial, and then using the UV printer to print a dial on top. And then the hands you could probably just like source online or something, but and the movements you'd order in as well. But that's cool. You could make custom watches under your own style. That's so cool. And with all these hobbies, it's only going to cost you like $10,000 to make a $100 watch for yourself. But I mean, that's kind of what we do to ourselves, isn't it? Yeah, so cool. So cool. It's even tapping little holes in it. They're small holes too, like for the pins. And polish that up a bit, and that would look so good. All right, so I think I'll cover my final topic here. And thanks for joining in for this session. It's made it really interesting. Rather than just talking to myself the whole time, I've actually had someone to engage with. So thank you, Sean. The last topic is the AI tools. Now, I have put out a video on Rodin recently. It hasn't got as many views as I wanted to, which I'm surprised. I think, yeah, the metal fab, I really want one of those. I haven't done much metal working before, but just looking at the potential of what I could learn and do with that thing, and actually the thickness of steel you can cut with it is impressive. Like, we cut a lot of stainless, not at work, but we get it done overseas, and we have to get like cover plates or something made out of stainless, and they're usually, I don't know, a couple mil thick, maybe 3 mil thick sometimes, but it can apparently do up to like 5 or 6 mils in stainless steel with that laser cutter. That's crazy. That's so cool. And it's got a big bed on it too. And if we could, like, I try to push work to get one. We might get one and I might be able to get to play with it, but it's like 25 grand here. I hope I can convince work to get one, because I'll probably just play with it in the side. And the welder at work, he's really interested in it as well, because he does like a lot of stainless welding, and 10 millimeter, yeah, that's crazy, eh? And I don't think he uses a fiber laser, which is what that uses, I believe, but he's interested in using it because it looks so easy. Like, I don't know, I've never welded something. The biggest weld I've done is with the soldering iron, you know, but I would love to do an actual welding course or something, or learning how to. I don't think it's hard, but it's just something you got to do on the side and get access to, and then you got to use it. So I personally don't have much use to it, but to have like a little fiber laser like that, where you can just take it out of the machine and, you know, make a little chair or something. My industrial design background sort of gravitates to a lot of that furniture stuff. So cool, so cool. And I see some of the other guys on YouTube that actually have access to the machine. They all sent one. Maybe Xtool will send me one day. You know, send a $25,000 machine for a channel that's got 16,000 subscribers. That'd be nice. But yeah, seeing them do like the signage and stuff with it, where they can just cut out really cool big metal signs. Like, you can do so much cool stuff with that. I see a lot of people on Facebook around here, or one at least, they do like the outdoor metal, you know, housing numbers and signages and stuff. Like, you get a lot of rich people and they'll name their house something, so they get like a custom sign saying, you know, this house or whatever it is, and that's his line of work. He just makes these signs for these houses and he cuts them out of metal. But having a machine like this, like, I don't know what machine he's using, but it's definitely not metal fab. But I can imagine with a metal fab, you could take a machine that's like this big and bring it down to something like that. And yeah, so cool. Yeah, the welder at work, he does a lot of stainless. So I'm not sure what he's using, but I chat to him a bit about the difficulty that welding with stainless brings, and it's very it takes a lot of experience. He says if you get it wrong, you mess up the job, and you got to get your heat right. Yeah, the multi-material, yeah. But back onto the AI. So it's something that I'm really interested in lately. I think it's a huge thing. And obviously it's getting a lot of traffic on YouTube. There's a lot of eyeballs on it. And so it just naturally fits in what I do as a creative, to be looking at tools like this. But with my style, it's to kind of demonstrate, like, how do you use these tools? What can you do with it? How can you optimize your learning to get the most out of it? That's always what my channel's about. And so a lot of these platforms are coming to me and offering sponsorship. So a lot of the videos I do with them are sponsored videos. And I generally try to be non-biased. I want to show you what's possible. Like the rodent video, I was surprised. I created that, testing image test with it, and it performed really well across all those images. And I've tried some other ones, and they didn't produce nearly as good results as rodent did. The other one I used was Hightem. Hightem was like one of the first platforms to sponsor quite a few videos with me, and now they're just like, yeah, just make another video. You do what you want to do and tell us when it's done. We're not even going to look at it. Just publish it. Like, we trust you at this stage, because I've done like 3 or 4 videos for them, and they just love the content. I think it was that Hightem video recently that just took off, like 120,000 views in 2 months. It's crazy. I've never had a video go that crazy. I've had 2 viral videos before. My magnets video for 3D printing, which got like 100,000 views in a year, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then I released another video, which was another 3D printing one, but I think it got like, it was the articulated action figure. Well, not articulated. I get a lot of flack for that, but the action figure using AI tool, and that got like 100,000 views in something like 6 months. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. And then I did that Hightem one before the end of the year. I remember I had almost 12,000 subscribers, and I was going on holidays, and I was like, I need to get this one more video out before we go, and hopefully it gets the 200 subs or something I need, so I can get to 13,000. And I published it, and that thing just took off. 5,000 views a day, 10,000 views a day. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? And in 1 month, it hit 100,000 views. And I'm like, okay, AI is where it's at. I've got to keep pushing content on this stuff, because it just helps the channel grow to what I want to do with it in the future. And it's cool stuff. So yeah, I did Hightem. I've done Rodin, was the recent one. And I've got 2 more in the pipeline that need to be done. So I've got one for Meshi, and I've got one for Trippo. There's one other one that contacted me, which has gone quiet. Sometimes you try and negotiate things, and then they just kind of disappear. I've had heaps of other AI platforms reach out to me that were like 3D video stuff, which maybe I'll do videos on, but I kind of want to keep it more towards the 3D printing or 3D modeling stuff. And then maybe I'll look at some of the image creation or the video stuff, but I don't know. I want to make sure the viewers come to my channel and they're like, yeah, this is the channel for like the AI 3D stuff and the 3D printing and UV printing and incorporating all that. I don't want to go too much of a tangent of like, hey, check out Claude coding or something. It's not where my viewership is, I don't think. Interesting. So my next video is, I should start reading these comments out so people know what I'm looking at. I tried Hightem 3D and Meshi after watching your videos, and I was getting better results with Meshi. That's interesting. So I've been working on a Meshi video for the next one. It'll probably be like a general overview of what Meshi is, how to use it, how to get some results, and I'll show off a few models. And that should be going live probably next week. Rodin, you got to try it. I think Rodin's really worth it as well. And yeah, with Meshi, I was feeding it the same images that I did in the Rodin video for the test, and it wasn't getting as good a results. It was getting a lot of artifacts and stuff on the image on the results, and so. But then I'll give it something like I was playing with it tonight, and I did like a steampunk frog, and I put that in, and it came through really good. I think the texturing on Meshy is way better than Rodin though. Rodin was getting that sort of like it's just texturing what it looks like, and then it sort of copies to the back, but it thinks it's going to be dark because that's where the shadow is. But that's not how textures work. It's like baking in the lighting, whereas Meshy was actually understanding, and Rodin, I think. No, Rodin was Hightem was the one that was actually understanding like, okay, this lighting is all around. It's not baked in on this side. And then Trippo, I haven't played with too much because that's later on in the month. It will be like the 4th one I release. So I haven't gone deep into that yet. But yeah, Meshy will be the next video that goes out on the AI stuff. And I'm sure there'll be more as well. It's a really cool opportunity that they come to me, they say, check out our platform, tell us what you think, make a video, we'll sponsor you. And it's really cool. It's what I want to do. So the big thing was like the end of last year, I was so backlogged with product reviews, and I'm not a product reviewer. If you look at some of my product reviews for like 3D printers and stuff, I don't know, you can probably hear it in my voice, and I've got a pretty monotone voice, but if you listen really carefully, you can probably hear like I'm not really satisfied with what I'm trying to present. I'm not like overly excited and jumping around, throwing graphics at the screen and stuff and doing cool dolly shots or whatever. I'm still learning all that as I go. I like to just document like, hey, I've got this machine, this is what it took to set up, this has been my experience with it, and then just kind of like demonstrate like what's possible. I don't like going into all the deep dive technical specs and stuff like that. It's just, watch me struggle with this thing, and then I'll recommend if it's good or not. Is sort of how I want to come across in those videos. And so I was getting really bogged down with all these machines that were being sent to me, and I had like, there's still some laser cutters in there that I haven't done a video for because every time I pick it up it's a struggle, and I want to try and make a video that's fun and engaging, and I'm trying to weave in like a storytelling element on it to hopefully keep that engagement high. And it's hard when you have this desktop laser machine that's just honestly like pretty crap, and you're like, what's the story here that this machine's crap? Like, yeah, we know that. So I was getting really bogged down, and after I released at the end of the year, the final video was that AI tool, and it got really good views. I'm like, that was fun to make, and I want to make more of that. And so, sure, there's still going to be some machine stuff. Like I believe any cubic is going to be sending me the Cobra X, their new sort of A1 Mini over there, their A1 clone. And I'll only do it because I want to check out how that thing prints by mixing materials of TPU and PLA. I think you can do some cool stuff with that. And I do want to really check out their Cobra S1 Max, which is going to be, like this big guy over here. It's basically the competition to the H2 series, well, at least the H2S, the single nozzle, which I've got. And that's a big printer, and I want to see what it's capable of. I want to set it up to do like ASA and those engineering materials, because apparently that's what I can do. I'll put it in the other room. I've never printed with ASA and what's the other one? ABS, because I'm always concerned about the fumes that those things let off. You don't want to be printing with those in the room. I wouldn't be printing ASA and ABS in the room here with me with those. But in the other room, I can vent it outside. And so I want to actually, that would be my story arc with that machine, to be able to get this big ass printer that can print these ABS and ASA no problem, what does that open up to me, you know? So the kind of moral of this tangent is that I'm looking to do less product reviews because it's not something I enjoy too much. I don't really enjoy the videos I produce for that, but I will do some occasionally, and there will be a bit more push towards AI tools as I can explore those. And then once we start getting some of those machines combined, like the laser cutter, I do have the Omtech that I've been fighting with to get working. I'm almost there with it. Big CO2 cutter. And I can pair that with my E1 once that arrives. And I've got the 3D printer. And I'll probably purchase for myself the Haygears resin printer, the Turbo or the RS Turbo. I haven't done resin printing for a long time because I just hated working with those materials. But I think resin printing has gotten to a stage, especially, or at least only, with the Haygears machine, that it's kind of at a point where a lot of those dramas from the past are gone, and it's more just about just being safe and making sure you use gloves and stuff and not being stupid with resin. But actually the cleaning and the handling and the refilling and the bottle system and stuff, it's really integrated. And if you haven't seen them, like, check out Haygears RS. Check out these. They're expensive. There's no doubt about that. You know, the one I would get is probably the RS series, RS Turbo. And then you'd want to get it with the no, maybe it's not that one. This one, RS Turbo combo. So this one, you know, $3,450. I think that's Australian. It better be, yeah, it's Australian. But this comes with the wash and cure and the printer itself. They give amazing results. Like, you cannot see the layer lines on these things unless you got a microscope or something. Really cool. And having these with the AI tools, like being able to go to Meshi, because the thing with the AI tools, I can get some really cool results, but I know I can't really 3D print it. There's been a few that I could, like the little dragon sculpture and stuff, the little dragon bust. I managed to, yeah, they do have a cool, like the, you know, it's basic from what I've seen, but it works. And the auto supports like work as well, just replying to the ecosystem. But with the AI is that I can, you know, create these little cool sculptures and really push the level of detail and then print them out on the Haygears and get what you see. And then maybe I'll even fall into the area of trying to paint these things as well, because I recently, I'm always going to go on a tangent on these lives, but I recently bought a set of Warhammer figures for the first time. The beginner set, I think it was, introductory set or something. It comes with like the Necron, not the Necrons, the Space Marines, and the forget the name of them, the bug aliens, and then it comes with the paints and stuff as well. So I've assembled them, but I haven't painted them yet. And I've always wanted to paint resin figures. Like, I've got a couple here. Like, here's a little Asuka from Evangelion, which was printed on my very old Elgu. It's a really cool little one. And a Kratos. So, you know, being able to print those and learning how to paint, would be really cool. But I know it's a whole other area. And it's something that I know if I get into, I'm going to start buying all the stuff for it. I'm going to buy an airbrush and good paints and good brushes and then end up just buying all this stuff and probably not going as far as I really want to go with it, because I know it's a skill that you need to learn. There's techniques and it takes time and practice and to get the results. It always looks easy when you see people painting them online, because I was looking at the videos of the Warhammer painting and thinking, oh, that looks easy. And then I assembled my little Space Marine and this thing's like this big. And I'm looking at the videos thinking, did they like get a version that's double this size? Like, how the hell are they painting this thing when it's this big and they're doing like, you know, all the emblems and stuff in gold and painting it without missing a line? I'm like, what the hell are they, what the hell are they using? Tamiya makes very good paints. It's something I haven't looked much into yet. I've got the paints that come with it, the Citadel paints and the brush. I haven't even put any paint on it. Maybe I'll do it this weekend. I should really push myself and get that done. At least that will tell me if I enjoy it or not. I have this image in my head that I'll paint it. It'll look really cool, but then when I actually go to do it, it's gonna look absolutely awful. But it's an experience, right? You gotta start somewhere. But yeah, this is a machine, the Hay Gears. This is something that I want to get probably in the next couple of months, I reckon. I'll definitely get one of these. And then I can print out. If you ever hear that noise, it's the air freshener. It's not me farting. But yeah, I want to get this printer. I want to combine the AI stuff and then print some really cool little miniatures and do this stuff, but with AI tools. I can't model this. This is impossible for me to model. It'll take me a couple of years of learning Blender again to get to that kind of level. Nah. It's my 3D modeling experience is all CAD. It's SolidWorks and Inventor and Fusion and some Blender, but not this type of nomad sculpting ZBrush stuff. I tried. It's so hard. It's so difficult to learn. You got to learn how to do it. It's tough. But with AI, I mean, it's cheating in a bit, but at least, you know, it pushes me to do things that I wasn't able to do. I could create the things I want. I could pick up Nomad Sculpt and then, you know, edit it a little bit, but trying to make this from scratch, I'm never going to be able to do. So AI helps me get there. So Tamiya acrylic paint, so watering down is easy. Oh, okay. There's a couple of guys at work that get really into the painting side of things, and they do some really cool stuff. I need to talk to them more once I get into the painting. I think they sort of push me down the path of like dry brushing and looking into that kind of stuff, and slap paint or something, and yeah, definitely I'll get into that area eventually. Probably especially once I get the resin printer and AI prints getting started, then I'll probably start painting them as well. Ah, yeah. Well, it'd be watered down a bit so it'd flow better, I suppose. Good for airbrushing. Alright, I better call it there. Thanks for sticking around through this whole thing. I covered everything I wanted. It was going to be just a half an hour smash through those topics, but hey, you'll always be the first one that engaged with this video for these live sessions. And I'll probably try and do these. Sprays your friend. All right, I'll keep that in mind. But I'll probably try and do these like fortnightly. Depends what I've got to chat about. And you know, just talk about what's happening in the industry or what I'm working on, or just chatting back and forth. As this community grows, it just becomes a place where we can hang out and just chat about what's happening in the makerspace. Maybe one day I turn this into a, you know, podcast or something. I don't know. I'm always dreaming of things, so as long as I stick to it, that's the main thing. Just poke me, make sure I do the next live session, and we can continue this every I'll make it a fortnightly thing to start with, I think. I'll just commit to that, and that should be fine. But it's almost 11 p.m. here. I better get to sleep because I got work in the morning. It's another stressful day for me, trying to get machines ordered on time. And if you ever notice my mouth drying out or things, it's because I got braces. These should be out in a few more months, and I'll have a nice, perfect smile. But that's why sometimes my lips get a bit kind of like this. But yeah, that's what that's about. So thank you so much, Sean King. Thank you for sticking around and watching this. I'll have some more videos posted soon. Okay, cool. So once you come, Macau. Ah, nice. My wife always talks about Macau as being like one of her favorite places. She spent some time there studying. She really liked it. There's another tool that I need to do a video on pretty soon. It's just over here. This one's cool. I gotta do a video on this really soon, probably next week as well. This is the ultrasonic blade from Hozo Design, the Neo blade, and yeah, it's a really cool little. Like you can't even hear it, but it's an ultrasonic blade. So when you cut something, it just like just cuts into it so easy. It's really cool. So I'll be doing a video on this really soon too. And they also have the Neo sander coming out, which is like a little ultrasonic hobby sander, which is going to be really cool for like touching up resin prints and stuff. So working on a video for this, and soon the Neo sander as well. So yeah, thanks for sticking around, Sean. Thank you for watching. Anyone else that's stuck to this? Yeah, it's really cool. I'll post links, or at least check out my beacons links. You'll see a link to that in there. And yeah, thanks for sticking around and watching. If anyone else watches this after it's published and gets to this stage, thanks for watching as well. Definitely jump in next time and interact. It's been fun hanging out with Sean, just talking about these topics and what we're interested in the maker space. But yeah, thanks, and I gotta head out. I think I usually end these things. What do I say? Like, thanks for watching. See you in the next time or something. I don't know. I gotta think of a finishing line for these live videos. So yeah, see you around, Sean. See you around, everyone else. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.